Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode on the SmartSenta podcast. On this episode, I want to talk about a very important concept. My background as a business process person exposed me to quite a bit, but one of those things is something called the breakthrough equation. The breakthrough equation. Of course, when people hear equation, especially for those of us who are least inclined in mathematics or we don't want to hear about equation, this equation is actually very simple, it's very easy, and it's very straight to the point. It is y is equal to a function of x plus e. Trust me, it is not difficult at all. And I'll break it down for you to see how this thing is applicable to every human endeavor. Y, the letter Y, is the output. Before you start anything, what is that thing you are looking for? What is your output? That is your letter Y. The F, Y is equal to a function of F. The F is a function that is the mixture of the X's. The X is your input. And E is your uncertainty, your errors. Let me break it down. In all of human endeavor, we want an outcome. A student goes to school to earn a degree or to pass their exams. A business starts to make profit. Anything that we do, an athlete goes to the Olympics to win a gold medal. Anything we start now, we are expecting a particular output. But for every output, we have a set of inputs. Most likely, you are going to have more than one input that goes into delivering that output for you. And your output, like I said, is a function of how you combine those inputs plus the uncertainties that you don't know. So now let me give you a practical example. You want to bake a loaf of bread. Let's take something as simple as a loaf of bread. The output is what? A loaf of bread. So that is your Y. Letter Y now is equal to a function of inputs. What are the inputs that go into baking a loaf of bread? You have what? Yeast, you have flour, you have butter, you have water, you have sugar, you have eggs, name it. Whatever you want your bread to taste like is what is going to determine the inputs and the function of. So the F in that fx is what is the function of those inputs. How much butter do you need? How much sugar do you need? How much flour do you need? If I have too much of this flour, will it affect the taste of my Y? And this is what life is really about. Any endeavor we start, any journey you start, you are starting that journey because you have a why. You have an outcome that you have in your mind. A student wants to pass the exam. What is the why? I want to succeed in my exams. But what are the inputs? Time to study, time to exercise, time to rest. What are the things and in what form, in what mix will this student have to, put those inputs, where the inputs must then balance it out in a way that the Y must be delivered. Now, don't forget that there's a part of the equation that talks about an E. Y is equals to a function of X plus E. E there are the errors, they are the risks, they are the uncertainties. A person wants to get a degree. What are the inputs to that getting a degree? The output, of course, is Y, which is get a degree. But the inputs are finances. How are you going to fund that education? Is it from your parents' funding? Is it scholarship? Is it from your own personal accounts? Whatever the issues are, that is where your inputs come from. The uncertainties, of course, are those things that will prevent you from delivering on that why. Every journey you starting a business, baking a loaf of bread, getting a degree, everything has a targeted output. But what are your inputs? What are those inputs? What needs to go into them? And what are those errors and those uncertainties that you face? I hope that once again we've had a very interesting session on this episode of the SmartSenta podcast. I want to thank you for always being there with us. Continue to share, comment, and subscribe, and visit all of our social media platforms. Look out to more quality content from SmartSenta. And for now, we see you next week.